A man named Thomas sat in front of me in Dharamsala. He was 48 years old, German, an engineer by profession. He placed a piece of paper on the table between us, the way you might hand a mechanic a list of problems with your car. Acid reflux. 2 years on medication. Insomnia, not the kind where you cannot fall asleep, the kind where you wake at 3 in the morning and your mind begins its work and will not stop. Lower back pain that 3 specialists could not explain. An arresting heart rate of 92, which his doctor called high normal and which Thomas knew was not normal at all. He looked at me and asked what herbs we use, what supplements, what medical secrets we keep inside these walls. I told him the truth. We have no secrets. We have a schedule. 5 things we do every single day, the same way they have been done in this tradition for 2,500 years. Not medicine, not spiritual rituals. 5 ordinary practices that take less than 40 minutes combined and that address the root of what was destroying his body. Within 6 weeks, 3 of his 4 conditions had disappeared. No medication, no treatment, nothing was added, something was removed. I have watched this happen hundreds of times. Men and women arrive here carrying the weight of decades of rushing, of eating without awareness, of sleeping without rest, of moving without attention, of never once giving their body the conditions it needs to do what it already knows how to do, which is heal. And when they live the way I am about to describe to you, roughly half of what they carried simply falls away. Today, I will share each of these 5 practices with you. I will explain exactly why each one works, what it does inside your body, and how to begin it tomorrow. The 5th practice, the one most people resist, I will share last. It is the one that changes everything. The first practice begins before your feet touch the floor in the morning, and it takes less than 4 minutes. There is something that happens to your body while you sleep that almost no one talks about. You assume that sleep is rest. You assume that when you close your eyes and lose consciousness for 7 or 8 hours, your body has recovered. For many of you, this is not true, and the proof is simple. Notice how you feel in the first 30 seconds after waking tomorrow. Before you have done anything, before a single problem has arrived, before the day has made any demand of you at all, there is already tension, a tightness in the chest, a shallow, quick rhythm to your breathing that you did not choose. For some of you, there is something worse, a feeling of dread that has no name and no reason. You have not yet opened your eyes, and already your body is bracing for the day. This is not weakness, and this is not a disorder. This is your nervous system. It did not reset during the night. You went to sleep in a state of activation. Your jaw was tight, your breath was shallow, your mind was still running, and that activation continued for 8 hours beneath your awareness. You slept, but your body did not rest. It spent the night in a low-grade state of defense, producing stress hormones, suppressing repair, preparing for threats that do not exist. In the monasteries, we understood this long before modern science gave it a name. We understood it because we observed it. A monk who goes to sleep carrying the day in his body wakes heavy. A monk who has released it wakes clear. And we discovered that the fastest way to interrupt this pattern is not to fix the night, it is to fix the first 2 minutes of the morning. Here is what I am asking you to do tomorrow. When you wake, do not stand. Do not reach for your phone. Sit up in bed or remain lying down and close your eyes. Place one hand on your belly and breathe in this way. In through the nose for a count of 4. Hold gently for a count of 4. Out through the nose for a count of 8. The exhale is always twice the length of the inhale. This is not a preference. This is how the body changes states. There is a nerve that runs from the base of your brain all the way down through your chest and into your gut. It is the longest nerve in your body, and it controls the switch between 2 modes, the mode of alarm and the mode of repair. When you breathe with a long, slow exhale, you press this switch directly. Not with your thoughts, not with willpower, with the physical mechanics of your breath moving against the walls of your chest and activating this nerve. This is not philosophy, this is mechanics. Do this 7 to 10 times. It takes less than 4 minutes. By the third or fourth cycle, you will notice something very specific. The area behind your eyes will soften. You will not have to make it soften. It will happen on its own. Your jaw will release. The space between your thoughts will widen. These are the physical markers of your nervous system changing states. In the tradition of Tummo, practiced in the high monasteries of Tibet, monks use breathing techniques powerful enough to raise their body temperature in freezing conditions. Researchers documented this. They watched monks dry wet sheets on their bare skin in near-freezing rooms using nothing but breath. You do not need that level of practice. But I share it so you understand that breath is not a gentle suggestion to the body. Breath is the most direct mechanical lever you have over the state of your entire system, and you have been ignoring it every morning of your life. One more thing about this practice. Most people, when they wake, reach for their phone within the first minute. You may think this is a habit. It is not. It is a stress response. Your body, already in a state of alarm from the night, seeks stimulation to match that alarm. The phone provides it. Every notification confirms to your nervous system that the alarm was justified. The breathing practice does not just calm you. It removes the urge entirely. When your nervous system is in a state of repair, it does not reach for stimulation. There is nothing to reach for. You are already where you need to be. This practice prepares the body. But the second practice, the one monks do at every meal, repairs it. And most people in the modern world do the exact opposite, 3 times a day. Let me describe how most people eat. They are standing or sitting in front of a screen. The food goes from the plate to the mouth quickly. It is chewed 5 or 6 times before it is swallowed. The mind is somewhere else, on a conversation, on a phone, on a deadline. The meal is finished in 8 minutes, and within an hour the symptoms begin: bloating, heaviness, acid rising in the chest. They blame the food. Too heavy, they think, too many carbs. But the food is rarely the problem. How they ate it is the problem. Digestion does not begin in your stomach. It begins in your mouth. Your saliva contains an enzyme that starts dissolving food the moment it touches your tongue. When you chew food thoroughly 30 times per bite in the monastic tradition, the food arrives in the stomach already partially broken down. The stomach handles it easily. Acid levels stay normal. When you chew 5 or 6 times and swallow food in large, barely broken pieces, the stomach must compensate. It produces more acid and works harder to do the job your mouth was supposed to do. This is the mechanism behind most acid reflux. Not too much acid, acid doing too much work. This is why medications that reduce acid give temporary relief but never solve the problem. They suppress the symptom while the cause repeats at every meal. Thomas, the man I mentioned at the beginning, had been on acid medication for 2 years. Within 10 days of eating the way I am about to describe, his reflux stopped, not improved, stopped. His stomach was never the problem. He had not properly chewed a meal in 20 years. But chewing is only one part of the monastic meal. The second part is silence. When you eat while talking or watching or scrolling, your brain divides its attention, and something specific happens. The signals from your stomach that say enough, stop eating, are suppressed. Your stomach sends the signal. Your distracted brain does not receive it. So you eat past the point of fullness, meal after meal, year after year. In the Tibetan tradition, in the Japanese tradition, in the Ayurvedic tradition of India, Three cultures separated by thousands of miles with no contact between them. The same principle was discovered independently. Stop eating when you are 80% full. When three civilizations arrive at the same conclusion through centuries of observation, that is not cultural preference, that is biological truth. There is a third element. Before food touches the lips, there is a pause. 3 seconds. You look at the food. This is not decoration. When you pause before eating, you signal safety to your nervous system. You shift from rushing into resting, and the body only digests well in the state of rest. If you eat while your body is in a state of urgency, standing at the counter, eating in the car, digestion is physically suppressed. This is why the same meal sits well on a calm Sunday morning and sits like a stone on a stressful Tuesday afternoon. The food did not change. Your nervous state changed. You have experienced this yourself. Here is what I ask you to do. Not at every meal. At one meal tomorrow, put your phone in another room. Sit down, look at your food for 3 seconds before you begin, and chew every bite until it is liquid before you swallow. You will feel a discomfort with the slowness, an urge to speed up, to fill the silence. That discomfort is not boredom. It is the feeling of meeting yourself without distraction. Many people have not done this in years. The breath heals the nervous system. The meal heals the gut. The third practice heals something most people have completely neglected, and it requires no effort at all. Only slowness. I need to be clear about this practice. This is not exercise. Monks do not exercise in the way you understand the word. We do not run. We do not lift heavy things and set them down. And yet visitors to the monastery are always struck by the same thing. Monks in their 70s and 80s, moving with a fluidity and ease that many people lose by 50. Between meditation sessions, monks walk, slowly, deliberately, at roughly half the normal walking speed, each step synchronized with the breath. Inhale across 2 steps, exhale across 3. You are not trying to get anywhere. You are moving the body in the way it was designed to be moved. Your body has 2 major fluid systems. The first is your blood pumped by your heart. It moves whether you think about it or not. The second is your lymphatic system, and this is the one almost no one understands. It is your body's waste removal network. It collects dead cells, metabolic waste, and the debris that accumulates in every living body every day. It is essential to your immune function. But your lymphatic system has no pump. Unlike blood, lymph fluid moves only when you move. It depends entirely on gentle muscle contraction and gravity. When you sit for hours, this system stagnates. Waste accumulates, inflammation builds. You feel it as stiffness, as puffiness, as a heaviness you cannot explain, as a sense that you are slowly thickening from the inside. Now, you might think the answer is intense exercise. Force the system to move. And intense exercise does move lymph fluid. But it also creates a large amount of additional metabolic waste that the system must then process. It is like cleaning a house. By running through it, you move some dust, but you knock things over in the process. Slow, rhythmic, gentle movement clears without creating new debris. This is why monks who have never run a mile have lower levels of chronic inflammation than many people who exercise intensely. The body does not need force, it needs rhythm. After your largest meal of the day, walk outside for 10 to 15 minutes at half your normal speed. No headphones, no destination. Synchronize your breath to your steps. 2 steps on the inhale, 3 on the exhale. Within 10 minutes, you will notice a warmth in your hands, a lightness in the body as if something has been released, and a quieting of the voice in your head that narrates everything. You will not believe that something so slow can change so much. This is because you have been taught your entire life that effort means speed. The body knows otherwise. It always has. These three practices heal the body during the day. But damage does not only accumulate while you are awake. There is something that happens every night, in the space between lying down and falling asleep, that most people get exactly wrong, and it is costing them years of repair. Let me describe the way most people end their day. They carry everything that happened, every frustration, every unfinished conversation, every worry. They distract themselves through the evening, and then they close their eyes and expect the body to rest. But the body has not been told the day is over. So one of two things happens. Either you cannot fall asleep because the thoughts will not stop, or you fall asleep quickly from exhaustion but wake between 2 and 4 in the morning with your mind already running and you cannot return to sleep. That second pattern is one of the most misunderstood problems I encounter. Most people think it is insomnia. It is not. It is the body's attempt to process what you refused to process while you were awake. During lighter sleep stages, the brain surfaces unresolved emotional material. If it is small, it processes smoothly. If it is heavy, a conflict you pushed aside, a fear you ignored, it pulls you into wakefulness. Your body is saying this cannot wait. And because you did not deal with it at 8 in the evening, your body forces the conversation at 3 in the morning. Think about the last time this happened to you. Think about what was waiting in your mind the moment your eyes opened. In the monasteries, we practice something before sleep that I will call clearing the ledger. When you lie down, before you allow sleep to come, you close your eyes and replay the day from morning to evening. Not analyzing, not judging, simply watching, as if it is a film of someone else's life. When you reach a moment that carries a charge, and you will know it because your body will react, a tightening, a flicker of irritation, a pulse of worry, you do not stop. You breathe one long breath into your belly and let it pass. You move to the next scene. This is not therapy. You are not trying to understand why you are angry or resolve a conflict. You are doing something simpler and more powerful. You are acknowledging that the experience happened and choosing not to carry it into tomorrow. When you suppress an emotion, the body stores it, not as a memory, as tension, as cortisol that runs through the night, as activation that prevents the deep sleep where physical repair happens. This is why you can sleep 7 or 8 hours and wake exhausted. The sleep was long, but the body was at war with material you refused to release. The body remembers everything you refuse to feel. This practice lets it forget. 5 to 10 minutes. Replay the day. Breathe through what is charged. Do not skip the difficult moments. Acknowledge them, breathe once, and move on. If you grind your teeth at night, this is likely the tension it releases. If you wake with headaches that have no structural cause, this is often the source. If you carry a feeling that something is heavy, something is wrong, and you cannot quite name it, that is not a mood. That is accumulated emotional weight from weeks and months and years of going to sleep without clearing the ledger. There is one practice remaining. I told you at the beginning that it is the one most people resist. And I have watched this resistance many times, intelligent people who adopt everything else I teach and then refuse this one practice because it asks them to do the one thing the modern world has made almost impossible. And yet, of all 5, this is the one the body has been waiting for. Of everything I share today, this will meet the most resistance. Not because it is difficult, because it goes against everything you have been taught. You have been raised to believe that more is better. More food, more activity, more information, more stimulation, and your body is paying for that belief in ways you cannot see until someone points them out. In the monasteries, monks eat 1 full meal and 1 light meal each day. We spend hours in silence. We take in no news, no entertainment, no stimulation beyond study and observation. When visitors learn this, they feel pity for us. But I will tell you something. It is not the monk who is deprived. It is the person who has not had a single hour of true silence in 10 years. It is the person whose body has not had a break from digesting food for longer than 8 hours in years. That person is not full. That person is overwhelmed, and the body knows the difference. When you stop eating for an extended period, something remarkable happens. Your body has a cleaning system that breaks down damaged cells, clears waste, and recycles what can be reused. It is the most powerful repair mechanism you possess, but it only activates when you are not eating. Every time food enters your system, a substance called insulin rises, and this cleaning process shuts off completely. The body switches from repairing to processing. In a monastery, where the last meal is taken in the early afternoon and the first meal the following morning, there is a window of 16 to 18 hours where this cleaning system runs at full capacity, every day. For an entire lifetime, this is the single largest reason monks have dramatically lower rates of chronic inflammation, joint breakdown, immune dysfunction, and the diseases that modern people accept as inevitable parts of aging. They are not inevitable. They are the result of a body that never gets to clean itself. Consider this for a moment. From the time you were a teenager until today, you have likely eaten from the moment you wake until the moment you sleep. Breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, something sweet before bed. Your body's repair system has barely been allowed to function for decades. The damage accumulates. It shows up as stiffness you blame on age, inflammation you blame on genetics, illness you blame on bad luck. And this extends beyond food. Every notification, every headline, every message creates a small activation in your nervous system. One activation is nothing. Hundreds per hour, 16 hours a day, is a nervous system that never stops firing. This is why you feel exhausted on days when you did nothing physical. Your body is not tired from effort. It is tired from processing. In the monastery, noble silence is not a spiritual performance, it is a discharge. When you stop speaking, stop taking in information, stop producing and consuming, the nervous system begins to release accumulated tension the way a clenched fist slowly opens when you stop gripping. Most people have not felt this settling in so long they have forgotten it exists. I am not asking you to become a monk. I am asking you for 1 day per week. On that day, eat within an 8-hour window, perhaps 11 in the morning until 7 in the evening. You are not starving. You are giving your body 16 hours where its repair system can work. You already fast every night between dinner and breakfast. I am asking you to extend that by a few hours. On that same day, take 1 hour of deliberate silence. No speaking, no screens, no input of any kind. Let the nervous system discharge. Let the fist open. This is perhaps 1/10 of what a monk practices. It is more than enough to begin, and your body will respond with a speed that surprises you, not because you have given it something new, because you have finally stopped giving it too much. These 5 practices, breath, food, movement, purification, and less, are not 5 separate things. They are one thing, and understanding how they connect is the difference between trying a technique and changing a life. A monk's day moves like this. Wake, breathe for 4 minutes, eat the first meal in silence, chewing slowly, walk after eating 10 minutes, half speed, move through the day. Eat the last meal by early evening. Take time in quiet. Lie down and review the day. Sleep. The entire framework adds less than 40 minutes. And most of that time replaces something: the rushed eating, the scrolling before bed, the phone in the first minute of morning, rather than adding to an already full life. Every practice I have shared today has one thing in common. Not one of them adds anything. Every single one removes something. The rushed morning, the distracted meal, the neglected movement, the unprocessed day, the endless input. You are not missing something. You are carrying too much, and the body has been asking you to set it down. Most people who begin even 3 of these practices notice changes within the first 2 weeks. Not because the practices are extraordinary, because the body was ready. It was only waiting for the interference to stop. I told you earlier that the body knows otherwise. Now you understand what it knows. It knows that healing is not something you do, it is what happens when you stop interfering. Monks did not develop these practices for health. They developed them because a scattered, overfed, under-rested, emotionally burdened body cannot sit still long enough to see the nature of mind clearly. Health was the side effect. If you practice these for your body will thank you. But if you practice them long enough, you will discover they were never only about the body. Let me tell you what happened to Thomas. 6 weeks after he arrived, his acid reflux had stopped, he was chewing his food, his insomnia had resolved, he was clearing the ledger each night. His resting heart rate had dropped from 92 to 71. The breathing and walking had done that. His back pain had reduced but not disappeared. I tell you this honestly because not everything resolves. Some damage needs more than practice. Some damage needs time. And some damage needs the kind of help that these practices alone cannot provide. But Thomas said something as he was preparing to leave that I have carried with me since. He said, "I did not come here to learn 5 practices. I came here because I had forgotten that my body was something I live inside, not something I drag behind me." I think many of you understand what he meant. Somewhere in the years of working and worrying and caring for others and pushing through and ignoring what hurts, your body became a thing you manage rather than a place you inhabit. These practices bring you back inside. What I have shared today is not a religion and not a belief system you must accept. These are practices, and like any practice, they require patience and consistency. Every person's body is different. Every life has its own demands. I cannot promise you the same results as Thomas, because I do not know what you are carrying or how long you have carried it. What I know is that these practices have been used for 2,500 years across hundreds of monasteries by thousands of practitioners, and I have watched them work in the lives of hundreds of people who sat where you are sitting now. I can only offer you the same invitation I offered Thomas. Try and see for yourself. Do not try all 5 tomorrow. Choose one. The breathing is the simplest place to begin. Do it for 7 mornings. Then add the meal practice. Then the walk. A monk does not build a monastery in a day. He lays 1 stone each morning and trusts the structure. If you stayed through this entire teaching, something in you is ready for this. Tell me in the comments which of the 5 practices you will begin with. And if you have been carrying a condition you believe this daily framework might help, share that too. Not for me, for the person reading the comments after you, who needs to see that they are not alone in this. If this teaching was useful, share it with someone whose body has been asking for rest. And if you have not yet subscribed, I invite you to, so the next teaching reaches you when you need it. Take care of the body that carries you. It has been waiting patiently for you to begin.